During Sorosoke, it became almost an insult the way the younger generation was addressing the elderly ones, as if they had no sense, as if, yes, we are here now to liberate you from your years of stupidity. But if you also read your history, you will discover that every generation has its own challenges. The generations of the late 50s, early 60s had their own challenges. For instance, colonial Britain was living and it signed an agreement with Nigeria that, well, yes, we are granted you independence, but our troops will always be here. Our troops will always be using your territory as landing and taking off stages. And Nigerians reacted to say, no, what kind of independence did we have if such a thing is going to happen? So UCI students reacted, and that Anglo-Nigerian Defense Pact was abrogated. So that was their own challenge. In the Western region, you had people protesting against political imposition. And so we had our wet year crisis from late 64, early 65, 1965 to early 66, that led to the coup. That generation reacted badly. The tea riots in the north was their own Sorosoke in the mid-1960s. Then, of course, in 1978, I'm sure many of them didn't know about it, Ali Must Go. Ali Must Go was terrible, simply because Nigerian students were protesting against increase in school fees as well as feeding on campuses. You know, it went on and on until, you know, the country became calm all over again. That was their own Sorosoke. And then what do you want to say about anti-SAP riots in 1986? Anti-SAP riots was countrywide, you know, and so they began to protest about harsh living conditions, about government policies, and it was really terrible, much more terrible than what we witnessed under Sorosoke. That was their own Sorosoke. And then, of course, 1993, annulment of June 12 elections. That one was also equally bad. That was their own Sorosoke. So, NSAS is this generation's challenge. They are facing it. And because you lack that knowledge and sense of history, you believed everybody had been looking on like a mumu simply because some people began the narrative of our mumu don't do. No, no. History will teach you that history is a continuous process. It is a continuous process between the present and the past. It's a dialogue between the present and the past. So when you remove that dialogue and believe that you are the only force of history, then of course you are not going to make it. So now the Sorosoke thinks we are hopeless, we are useless. Okay, we leave it to them. So that kind of conversation that should go on to make these things work is not taking place now because you think you are the liberating generation. No, you are just creating bad blood amongst the different generations. It's not necessary. So it is important for you to understand history, to understand where you are coming from, to understand the building blocks of society that had been on before yours came to join the building blocks. After Sorosoke, something else will happen sometimes later, because until we have a good country, a good government, a good ruling elite, a good grand strategy to factor all our interests, all our needs, all our desires, all our aspirations into something, then Sorosoke will continue to metamorphose, to continue to change in character and come with another name in another generation.